तो आज हम ना एक बहुत ही स्पेशल टॉपिक की तरफ जा रहे हैं, जो ये ऐसा टॉपिक है जो मेरे पर्सनली बहुत क्लोज टू माई हार्ट है. एंड वो इसलिए बिकॉज ऑल माई लाइफ आई हैव स्पेंट अ मेजर पार्ट ऑफ एवरी डे गेमिंग. इवन टुडे मैं कोशिश करता हूँ आई कैन स्क्वीज आउट वन गेम ऑफ फीफा एवरी डे. समटाइम्स आई एम नॉट एबल टू, बट मोस्ट डेज आई एम. So, but one of the aspects that really fascinates me is that the tech that's used in gaming is not really pertaining to gaming as such. वो बहुत जगह यूज होती है और हम ये सोचते हैं कि यार एटलीस्ट हमारे मम्मी पापा ये सोचते हैं कि यार गेम क्या खेल रहे, पढ़ाई कर ले बिगड़ जाएगा. लेकिन ऐसा है नहीं. उनको ये पता नहीं है कि एक समय ऐसा आएगा जब पैसे ही गेमिंग से कमाए जाएंगे, बिकॉज गेमिंग विल पॉसिबली बी एवरीवेयर, एटलीस्ट टच एवरी इंडस्ट्री समवेयर समहाउ. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद दिस. One of the most overhyped concept, overhyped word I've listened to is this word called reality. लोगों को लगता है कि यार reality कितनी amazing चीज़ है, but reality है क्या? सबसे पहले reality is anything you hear through 5 inputs, which is your eyes, your sense of touch, ear, smell and taste, right? But what if we can change all of the 5 senses? What you see or rather feel after getting those 5 inputs, not from reality but from somewhere else, what you get, would you still call it real, or will reality now start becoming an overhyped concept? मेरा मतलब क्या है? मेरा मतलब ये है कि जो पिक्चर आप पीछे देख रहे हैं, इमेज पीछे देख रहे हैं, इनमें से एक है जो परमात्मा ने बनाई है, नेचर ने बनाया, और एक वो इमेज है जो आप और मैंने ह्यूमंस ने क्रिएट करा है यूजिंग गेम इंजिन्स. टू बी मोर प्रिसाइज, दिस वाज मेड इन अ गेम इंजन कॉल्ड क्राई इंजन, जो फार क्राई बनाने के लिए यूज होता है. अब आप इसको देख के शायद ये बता नहीं सकते राइट और लेफ्ट में कौन सा परमात्मा ने बनाया और कौन सा हम सब ने बनाया. This is one example of where gaming is heading to, and gaming is probably the most advanced in terms of vision, eye, क्योंकि आपको गेमिंग वो प्रोड्यूस कर सकता है जो नेचर आपको प्रोड्यूस कर सकता है, उतने ही हाई डेफिनेशन में, उतने ही हायर रेजोल्यूशन में जो नेचर देता है. लेकिन नाउ द इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज, बिफोर वी dwell deeper into gaming, it's important to understand ki how does game worlds, virtual worlds are created, and I have no shame in saying कि nature थोड़ा सा हमसे बेहतर है, इसलिए हम उन्हें कॉपी करते हैं. और वो कॉपी कैसे करते हैं? We use game engines pretty much. Game engines are like God in a way, right? And virtual worlds are created on the same principle as God created Earth, right? According to most religious books, right? God first created the underlying universe and everything that surrounds it. We create a 3D virtual plane using these game engines. Then it said God created the rules of engagement ki hawa bahegi, mountains ऊंचे होंगे, grass will always grow on the land, so on and so forth, right? Gravity. तो वैसे हम define करते हैं इसमें physics rules, जो कि एक game engine का बहुत important part है. और third, God created organisms, human beings, animals who can evolve and decide for themselves and reproduce and create more of themselves, right? And hence we create AI bots who can learn, who can understand the surroundings, and maybe in the future create more of themselves and populate the virtual world, right? Now, before ये गेमिंग वेमिंग और ये भगवान जी वाली बातें, ये सब बहुत बहुत बढ़िया हैं, लेकिन लेट मी नॉट टॉक इन थ्योरी, लेट मी इनफैक्ट गिव यू अ यूज केस. ये सम रियल यूज केसेस हैं, एंड इसमें वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट यूज केसेस इज दिस शो कॉल्ड, इट्स ऑन हॉटस्टार, इट्स अ शो कॉल्ड द मैंडलोरियन, कम्स फ्रॉम द स्टार वॉर्स यूनिवर्स. नाउ अब ये इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए है क्योंकि पुराने ज़माने में, पुराने स्टार वॉर्स इनफैक्ट या और भी मूवीज वर क्रिएटेड यूजिंग VFX सॉफ्टवेयर. एंड टू गिव यू सम सेंस, अ मैंडलोरियन, एन एंटायर सीजन वुड हैव taken roughly 8 months, 9 months to sort of create a VFX for and special effects for this, while Unreal Engine 5.1 does it in roughly 12 to 13 days. That's how fast this is, right? The second example you see is the Lion King movie, which released in 2019. It wasn't the animated movie, it was actually more realistic in nature. It was built not using VFX software, but a game engine. It was built using Unity, the most popular game engine out there. Also, the flight simulator on which most pilots train before they actually take off using the real deal is made on a game engine. And lastly, our digital twins. ये actual future है. India 22 smart city projects चला रहा है. Globally, there are roughly 1,000 plus smart city projects. And one of the most important parts of these smart city projects are this thing called digital twin, जिसमें हम एक city का हूबहू 1:1 ratio पे replica बनाते हैं और हम हर चीज उसमें real time so basically digital twin is used for both planning and simulation. Planning how कि let's say एक जयपुर का digital twin बना है और एक land allocate हुआ है let's say एक hospital या एक fire station बनाने के लिए. So what a digital twin will allow you to do is क्या मैं यहाँ पे एक अगर fire station place करता हूँ या करती हूँ, how much area will it cover? What will be, let's say if a factory is placed there, what will be the pollution of the neighboring neighborhoods that surround it? और let's say कल को मुझे ये predict करना है coastal area में कि अगर flooding हो जाती है तो कितने areas affect होंगे और मुझे barriers लगाने हैं accordingly. तो वो digital twins में बनता है. So the ones that you see me are real ones. The ऊपर वाला is of Shanghai in China. The नीचे वाला is of Sydney in Australia. There have been several others, including Singapore, Oslo, Auckland, and so on and so forth. Now, ये तो अभी 3-4 दिन पहले की बात है. So there's a car that's come up using the collaboration of Honda and Sony, and Afeela is the name, and you'll be surprised that Sony CEO claims कि जो हम steering use करते हैं ना driving के लिए, it's so old school. Probably what he says, newer cars could be driven using a PlayStation controller, and that's where he claims we are heading to. If we get there or not, probably future is the best guess, right? So the second one is happening for 10 years plus. So most drones that you see, most periscopes of submarines that you have, or most unmanned vehicles in the US are even to this date driven using an Xbox 360 controller. So, I mean, we are almost there, but not there yet. So the first one is a TV show in Korea where a woman lost her daughter in an accident like 4 months before this was actually shot. And this is a reality show where the makers recreated the girl, brought her back to life, made the mother wear a VR glass and haptic sensors in the hand, and she could, after 4 months of losing her daughter, she could actually go there and touch the daughter and feel कि वो वहीं पे है. And उस show पे, if you watch the entire episode, एक point ऐसा आता है कि VR glass में से आंसू निकल रहे हैं, because it's a super emotional moment. दूसरा is a AI companion using game, मतलब it's built using Blender and game technology, and it's very interesting because Replica is a tool where almost 30% of its users across the world are males who've lost their companion to, let's say, accident, illness, so on and so forth. And this acts as their companion, and they feel like they're actually talking to their deceased wife or their girlfriend. And this has got more than 10 lakh downloads only on Play Store. It's got more on App Store. The third one, slightly more encouraging. It's this show called Alter Ego, और ये popular show है Fox पे. And this is like Indian Idol in metaverse, right? And people wear haptic suits. They perform, but not to a live audience, but they perform in a studio. Then special effects are added to their movements and stuff, and using mocap or motion capture, it's brought to life and people judge their performances and so on. Now, this is an Indian use case of gaming. So most of you might be aware कि अभी Bits Pilani की convocation हुई थी metaverse में, and this is a picture of one of the whole episode. And the second one is a replica of the Bangalore airport created by Bial. And this is again built in Unreal, so it looks hyper realistic. And this is primarily created कि आप जब एयरपोर्ट पे बैठे हो, बोर हो रहे हो, या पहली बार एयरपोर्ट पे आ रहे हो, तो आप वहीं से वेब चेक इन कर सकते हो, वहीं से बैगेज ड्रॉप कहाँ है वो देख सकते हो, लोगों से बातें कर सकते हो, पहले से ही शॉपिंग कर सकते हो और वहाँ पे चीज़ें बुक करा के होल्ड करा सकते हो, so on so forth. Before we go further, it's important to, लोग बोलते हैं कि गेमिंग बहुत बातें कर ली, बट गेमिंग है कितना बड़ा? गेमिंग तो बहुत छोटी सी चीज़ है यार, बड़ी हो रही है बट आज तो बहुत छोटी है, बट ऐसा है नहीं. ऐसा इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि एग्जाम्पल्स हैं आगे. So there's an interesting use case here. It's a game called Minecraft. जिसमें it's a user-generated game where people can build their own worlds and the whole universe expands. But वो धीरे-धीरे expand कर वो इतना बड़ा बन गया है कि it's becoming 8 times the size of Earth. आज अगर Earth का 8 गुना करूँ तो Minecraft की दुनिया है. या फिर हमारे नेबरहुड में एक प्लैनेट है नेपट्यून, अगर उसका साइज देखूँ तो वो exactly Minecraft का साइज है. So that's how big all of this is. Second is so there's a very popular game out there called Microsoft Flight Simulator, and games use very intelligent techniques to fool you, जहाँ पे वो पूरी चीज़ लोड नहीं करते. आप जैसे से आगे जाते हो वो लोड होती जाती है to save on space. But अगर मैं आज फ्लाइट सिमुलेटर को if I lay it flat, it's the total area of the total size of Microsoft Flight Simulator is roughly 2.5 petabytes. 1 petabyte, as we know, is almost 10 lakh gigabytes. So it's a hell lot of size that gaming packs into one. And talking about, does gaming make money? It does. There's a popular game from 2007. It's called Second Life. It was supposedly one of the early metaverses out there. Its current GDP is roughly 650 million. As of now, it's touted to go to almost 1 billion in the next 1-2 years. अब ये बहुत ही बढ़िया एग्जाम्पल है, one of my favorite games as well, Fortnite. अब Fortnite ना इतना खेला गया है आज तक, इतना खेला गया है कि it's been the total session time of all the games that everybody has played is roughly 10 million years. To give you some sense, humans have existed for 300,000 years. But ये 10 million year खेल रहे हैं. Amazing. And the second thing is that so gaming as an industry globally, right, is bigger than box office plus music put together. And the only industry above this is video. When I say video, I mean OTT, YouTube, so on. That's around 650 million. It's around 250, 240-ish is what gaming is at. Now, अब ना ये हम माइक्रो में चलेगा. अब हम ये अगर ये अभी गेमिंग लैंडस्केप पे मैं चाहता हूँ हम 15,000 फीट पे उड़ें. हम ऊपर से देखें कि गेमिंग मतलब पूरा लैंडस्केप कैसा दिखता है, हम कहाँ थे, कहाँ हैं, कहाँ जाने को है वगैरह. So this is how most games are created. The early games, in fact, even the games in early 2000s were primarily single player, and all the content that was created in those games or virtual worlds were created by platforms. But it has changed. मतलब पिछले 10-15 साल में a lot of UGC content has come in, Roblox has come in, Fortnite has come in, Minecraft has come in, and अब यहाँ पे it gives you the freedom कि आप अपनी दुनिया अपने हिसाब से बना सकते हो, and you can invite people and do a bunch of activities there. But what does the future hold? Well, the future holds AI. That's what a lot of people say. And now AI will be able to create those worlds for you. Now Minecraft will possibly go from maybe 8 times the size of Earth, and who knows, 800 times the size of Earth, right? And that is where the next revolution lies, right? Now, how do we get to the next level of, or when will we get to the next level of the stage of evolution, right? One of the ways we do this is by waiting, is by doing nothing and waiting for the Moore's law to kick in. Moore's law क्या कहता है कि हर 2 साल में ट्रांजिस्टर्स की कैपेसिटी और स्पीड डबल हो जाती है, मतलब आपके डिवाइसेस 2x फास्टर हो जाएंगे और उनकी कॉस्ट हाफ हो जाएगी. So every 2 years things get 2x faster and 2x cheaper. That's what Moore's law says, and it's a law that originated in '64. It's been true till now, and if we keep waiting for stuff to happen, innovation is already happening around us. Probably we could wear a glass tomorrow that will have a power of a supercomputer, possibly, right? And the second way we'll get there is by having a robust internet infrastructure, 5G coming in, or low latency devices coming in. All of this will contribute to a great extent in getting to that AI part, right? And I feel we're roughly, today we're in 2024, right? Roughly we're 6 years from actually AI driving almost 50% of our work everywhere. And that's a pure prediction. It's not fact. That's what even JP Morgan stated, but I believe them when they say that. Now the third step is, अभी मैंने आपको बोला ना, eyes तो हमने figure out कर लिया, ears भी figure out कर लिया, 2 units inputs. आप eye को affect कर पा रहे हो, ear को affect कर पा रहे हो, but बाकी चीजें भी अपने pace पे बढ़ रही हैं. One of the most interesting thing I tried recently is something called as an olfactory sensor, जिसमें कि virtual world में अगर आप एक गुलाब के फूल के पास जाते हो तो आपको एक छोटा सा वो olfactory sensor इस पे लग जाता है VR पे, and एक spray सा मारता है वो, and then you feel like you're actually close to the rose flowers, and वो आपको rose की smell देता है. अब यही same butter chicken के साथ भी होता होगा. But I don't know, I hope it gets वो flavor जल्दी से आ जाए so that I can possibly not eat but at least smell butter chicken every day. And one of the best things about these sensors is something called a 360-degree treadmill, जिसमें आप किसी भी direction पे जा रहे हो, whether you take a sharp turn, it actually feels like you're in Call of Duty without actually sort of being in a war zone, right? And this is possibly the coolest gadget I've ever used in my life. And lastly, this is what I want to end it with. Like a lot of, ये ना मेरे लिए खास इसलिए क्योंकि ये ना ये मैं आप लोगों को नहीं, actually अपने मम्मी पापा को बोलना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि they've always felt that gaming is more like an escape into reality. बेटा तुम पढ़ना नहीं चाहते, बेटा तुम प्रेशर नहीं फील करना चाहते, तुम गेम खेलते रहते हो, बट वो ऐसा है नहीं. Gaming is more like a gateway to infinite realities, and that's what Sweeney said, CEO of Epic Games, the parent company of Unreal Engine and Fortnite, and I leave it to that. Thank you so much. You've been a very kind audience, and I hope I could share some insights with you.